If you close your eyes and imagine the voices of the 80s, there is one that will stand above many, and there are no shortage of fans that wouldn't vouch for Miss Anita. When they opened up the radio lines for requests, they were politely begging to hear Sweet Love by Anita Baker, and you will find yourself caught in her rapture. But don't go too deep. Anita's life was no fairy tale, and she would defy every type of odd to become the singer we grew to love. This is her story. Anita Baker was born on January the 26th, 1958 in Toledo, Ohio. Her father was never around, and she was abandoned by her young mother at the age of 2. Placed in the foster care of a woman named Mary Lewis who lived in Motown, Detroit, Michigan, where she would grow up. Anita grew up believing that Mary was her biological mother. But when Anita was 13, unfortunately Mary Lewis would pass away, and she would be adopted by an aunt Lois Landry along with her husband William, who would raise her as if she were their own.
When I was a little bitty kid, my Uncle Walter used to put me on his shoulders, and I'd watch the parade. That and the block parties that used to happen when the Department of Parks and Recreation would come, once a month or so and block off both ends of the street and bring in the swimmobiles and the playmobiles, and somebody at the end of the block would turn the stereo up, and this is what I remember.
And it was from Lois who Anita would learn the truth about her birth mother abandoning her, which would cause Anita to have self-esteem issues for many years, believing it was something bad about her that drove her mother away. She also felt at times that she was unlovable. Growing up in Motown during the golden era, Anita would take a strong interest in music at an early age.
During this time, Motown was in its heyday here. The auto industry was in its fervor, and this was the place to be.
At only 16 years old, she began singing in nightclubs. In doing so, she would catch the attention of a funk band leader, David Washington, of a band called Chapter 8, who would invite Anita to audition to join the band.
You started with a local group here, Chapter 8?
Exactly. This is my third record deal, actually. The first one came back in 1979 with Chapter 8, a label called Areola.
Baker would join Chapter 8 in 1975, and after lighting up many performances around town, the group would get a record deal from Areola Records in 1979.
Can I come and play? Can I come today? I just want to be yours. I just want to be yours.
The group Chapter 8 would drop an album in 1979, but not long after, Areola Records would unfortunately be bought by Arista Records, and Chapter 8 would be dropped from the label because the execs at Arista did not approve of Anita as the lead singer, as they didn't believe that she had star power. Hurt by this news, Anita would return to Detroit and get a job as a waitress. She would also work for a law firm.
This job with the law firm was not a result of the fact that I had any experience with any type of legalese or legal secretary or what have you. I started out as a receptionist because they liked my speaking voice. And once we landed the receptionist's position, we just worked very hard and moved our way up the ranks until I headed up the legal services plan.
A few years later, she would be contacted by Otis Smith, a former associate at Areola, who would offer her a shot at a solo career on his Beverly Glen label in Los Angeles. Baker was signed with the label in 1983, and she would record her first solo album, The Songstress, that same year. In fact, it's alleged that former drug kingpin Freeway Rick Ross, an alleged associate of Otis, would put up the money that funded Anita's album.
Otis started talking to me about this girl that he was going to produce. And he needed the money to produce her. He didn't even have the money to send for her. I gave him the money to send her ticket from Detroit to come out here. And we got our apartment up in Hollywood Hills and just started from there.
Anita Baker.
I never got into the business though. I just gave him the money. Here's the money. So.
Did you get a return on your investment?
No. She jumped the label.
The album would reach number 12 on the R&B charts, as well as 139 on Billboard's pop album charts. Despite the moderate success of her album, Anita began complaining about not receiving any money for her work, and she would seek to leave Beverly Glenn label over unpaid royalties.
I signed with an independent record label called Beverly Glenn Music, and a product called The Songstress was the result of that association, which unfortunately led to some litigation between Beverly Glenn and I in terms of not reaping any of the financial benefits from the sale of records.
A legal battle would ensue after the label sued her for breach of contract, but Anita would emerge the victor and would now be able to sign with a new label.
I'm in love, sweet love.
Anita would sign with Elektra Records in 1985, and she would release her second album, Rapture. Led by its hit single, Sweet Love, the album would be wildly successful, selling 8 million records worldwide, while launching Anita into the hearts and ears of fans all across the globe. Anita would also come to grips with the actions of her young birth mother, stating that she was only a child herself. The platinum hits would keep coming, along with the Grammys and a whole lot more, as she would cement herself as one of the greatest. There will never be another voice like Anita Baker. You guys, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate you guys tuning in to Life is Lyrical. If you enjoy this content, please make sure you like and subscribe. Much respect, much love to Anita Baker. This is Care from Life is Lyrical. Peace, love, lyrics.